Welcome back to A Minute with Chelsea. The Hobbit hikers are in Fez, Morocco. I think this is the best night's sleep I've had the entire trip. The bed was actually comfortable because some of the beds have not been. Now, this was me taking a wrong turn. I ended up in the kitchen of the hotel on accident. I don't know how I did it. I was trying to get to the breakfast buffet and I ended up in the back of the kitchen and they all looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And I was like, hello, good morning, nice to meet everyone. I'm just gonna see myself out. And I just kept walking until I was at the buffet and they all just kind of stared at me like, okay. Those little red hot dogs, they were not good. They were not good little hot dogs, just so you know. I wish I had this machine at my house. I want this so bad. It makes the perfect cup every time, but they are so expensive and also I don't have a clue how to run it. This breakfast was huge, but I would say it was probably one of our least favorites. It was just like a bunch of stuff, but stuff that nobody wanted. Today we are doing a walking tour. We are walking through Fez. So for the next couple of vlogs, you're going to see the highlights of Fez, the ceramic village, the tannery, the weaving sites. But the first stop on our tour today is the Royal Palace. It is the palace of the King of Morocco. But on the way there, we saw so many kittens, of course. And of course, we stopped to say hi to every single one because we have no control. And also, this one has the most beautiful fluffy tail. So the Royal Palace of Fez is not open to the public. You can only see the exterior, which this is the famous part of the exterior, the very intricate gold doors. It is technically still a functioning royal residence. And it has 7 brass gates and then this really intricate mosaic tile work. Apparently, the best time to visit is early in the morning or in the evening. So I'm glad we went in the morning because the lighting is the best. But since we didn't get to go inside, I'll tell you what's inside. A mosque, a cookery school, accommodation for the royal guard, a library, and a college. Inside spans 195 acres as well, and there are these gigantic, super tall walls that protect it. It was built in the 13th century, but the Golden Gates were not constructed until the late 60s, early 70s. I also feel like our tour group got really lucky because, there were some people there in the beginning, like a crowd, but then it became completely just us. And I was like, oh, let's take 1,000 pictures. No one's even here. We did a little bit more walking. We saw this guy making some sugarcane juice, and we saw some storks, which I was way more excited about the storks because, I like an animal more than I like anything. Like my dream trip is to go on a safari where I get to ride around in a Jeep and look at elephants and giraffes and lions. Obviously not hurt them. I just want to see them. But after we saw the palace, we walked back to the bus. The bus is going to transport us to the highest point of Fez, which is the fortress. At the top, you can get out of the bus. There is a 360 panoramic view. You can see all of the Medina of Fez. If you're wondering what a Medina is, I will tell you. It is the historic old city, enclosed by walls with lots of tiny tunnels. And if you don't believe me, here's a 360 view of the Medina. We made it to the Medina. Let me just tell you, this place is so overstimulating and so crowded and so teeny tiny. And they told us if you get separated from the group in the Medina, do not try to find us again. Just stay where you are and we'll find you because you'll never find your way out. And I was like, I feel like an ant in an ant farm. So now we are at this ceramic village in Fez. So what Fez is particularly famous for are silver teapots, trays, leather, copper, embroidery, and ceramics. Specifically, Zalij tile work, which is the handmade Moroccan tile, and we're about to see how they make it, which was very interesting to me. When we first got to this ceramic village, we got to see the kiln and we got to see all of the clay. I thought this was cool because you can see him actually moving the pottery wheel with his foot. One of the things they make here are the tagines, which is the actual dish that the tagine dish is served in. It's what looks like a little tent, and it's how the food is cooked and it's how it stays warm. We all got to touch the clay and feel the clay, and I really wanted to put some in my mouth, but I didn't do that, even though I wanted to gnaw on it like a little animal. There are a lot of steps that go into making the tiles, so I will walk you through them very quickly. First, they have to mold and calibrate the square tiles. Then each square is glazed one color and fired. Each color has a different temperature that it has to be fired at. Once it is cooled, they shape it and cut it by hand. And apparently this is a very unique characteristic. I don't know a lot about mosaics, but the fact that the shapes are cut out of hard tiles rather than being molded into the shape they want before they're fired makes it extra difficult. They just kind of chip away at the extra pieces until they get the shape they want. That means you have to have a very careful and steady hand to chisel out all these little pieces. Now this is neat. He's sharpening the tools. This part I was very confused about, so Carly I think explained it to me. So for freestanding Moroccan tile work, like maybe a tabletop or a fountain, they create them upside down, so face down. He is taking every single tiny piece of the design element and then kind of quote unquote gluing them into place. He's using black soap to put them down. And then once all the pieces are laid down, they pour cement over the back. And then when it's dry, they turn it over and then you see what it actually looks like. This also makes it water and oil resistant because of the black soap. So you can use it for tables, you can use it for fountains, you can use it for staircases, fireplaces. Apparently it lasts forever. It's very, very sturdy. Not only do they do mosaic tile, but they also do hand-painted ceramics, which is a little bit less expensive because it doesn't take as much work, but it's still very delicate. This was my favorite piece. this. I love this one. I also love this one. I asked how much that table would cost to ship to America, and he said $900. And I was like, oh my God. To paint the pottery, they use horsehair brushes, and to fire the kilns, they use ground olive pits. So they actually are very eco-friendly fuel sources. After we took the tour, it was time to shop, and this took us so long. We shopped for forever. And now it's time to go back into the ant farm Medina. Oh God.